Y'all, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, the Mashiach, who some call Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yashayah. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Another Torah portion reading here. We're going to finish up on 1 Samuel. Well, we're not finishing up, but we're going to read chapters 4 and 5. 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5, y'all willing. Just a recap on chapters 1 and 2. Elkanah, Samuel's father, Hannah, the mother, and Peninnah. Is that how he was saying? Peninnah, Peninnah. You know, his sister mother. I don't know how. But we seen Hannah was barren. Hannah was born barren, and she prayed for a child, and Eli, also wished for her prayers to be answered for that child. She was mourning in front of the temple. We seen some of the issues with that. And she ended up, she said, if I have this son, I'm gonna give him to the Lord. And he ain't gonna drink no wine, and he ain't gonna cut his hair. And then we seen Samuel, growing up in the temple, and then situations with Eli, being in the temple, and his sons Hophni and Phinehas, messing with temple girls, doing certain things they weren't supposed to be doing, and Eli not punishing them and not checking them for it. And end up, judgment coming down on Eli and his family. But make sure you go back and look at the video on us just going through and reading. Sometimes you just gotta read. Sometimes you just gotta read. And we're gonna go through 3 and 4 today. All right, 3, 4, and 5 time with it. Prophetic call to Samuel, and the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli. And the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. All right, precious in those days. Like today, there's really no open vision. Who's having the vision? Who has the vision that we can trust, that we can write about? Who said, and that's the thing about the church fathers and all this stuff, who said that the book is closed? Who said that the canon's closed, that we don't have a prophet enough, that's reverenced enough, that has, God's hand on them enough, who's spiritually led enough to write a book? Brothers say, hey man, this, so-and-so is a man of the Lord. Can he write a book? Can we, is he that much of a man of the Lord? Brothers saying they prophets. The prophets got books. The prophets, we hawking on them. What we write those things down. We chronicle everything that the prophets are saying. But in those days, write that down. In those days, there was no open vision. All right. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And the lamp of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. And Samuel lay down to sleep. That the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, here I am. And he ran unto Eli and said, here am I. Here am I. For thou callest me. And he said, I call not, lie down again. And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, here am I. For thou didst call me. And he answered, I call not, my son. Lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord. And see, just getting into the understanding of what it means to know the Lord. Samuel is ministering in the temple. All right. Since he, maybe before he could walk. But again, I don't know, because that gleaning, I have to go back to Isaac and look at that, how long it was, how long they winged. But possibly before he could walk, he inside of that temple. How does he not know the Lord? A lot of people out here talking about, yeah, I know the Lord, I know the Lord, not knowing what it means to know the Lord. But he's in this temple since a toddler. Yet he does not yet know the Lord. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's some kind of communication. Maybe it's something that you got to for you to know the Lord. Maybe it's something a little different. Maybe, when he says all will know the Lord. Maybe it ain't as simple as just knowing that, oh, this Bible and this is, and I know God. I know there's a God. I know Yahweh. I know his name. Does that mean you know him? Something to think about. Y'all hit the comments. Let me know. Verse 7 again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. And the Lord called Samuel. When he's saying the Lord hadn't been revealed to him, what do you mean? Is it like he never read the scrolls? Did they have scrolls then? Are they reading the scrolls? Or are they just reading that book that was placed into the ark by Moses? Of course he had to hear the stories. Of course he's kept some Passovers and they rehearsed some of the stories, some of the great things that the judges have done and the great works of the Lord bringing them out of Egypt. Had to hear the story of Jericho. But they saying he didn't know the Lord yet. Verse 8, and the Lord called Samuel again the third time, 3 calls. Write this down. He ain't going to keep calling you. He ain't going to keep calling you. You keep ignoring him. He keep warning you. Keep telling you to put that thing down. Keep telling you to let that thing go. He ain't going to keep telling you. This was the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, go lie down and speak, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And you got to be prepared to hear. You got to be prepared to receive. We talked about that last time about, breaking up that fallow ground of your heart, preparing yourself for the word of the Lord. Verse 10, and the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, speak, for thy servant hear. Follow the instructions. And the Lord said unto Samuel, behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end. Now you got to understand this too, that Eli pretty much raising Samuel. Samuel's all pretty much his son. And the first thing that Samuel hears from the Lord is a message that he has to prophesy to, his spiritual father, his spiritual leader, Eli. He has a direct message from the Lord to give to Eli. And tell him that this thing is going to tingle everybody who got 2 ears. This thing going to tingle everybody's ear throughout Israel. In that day I will perform against Eli all the things which I have spoken concerning in his house. When I begin, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vow, and he restrained them. Now, how did they make themselves vow? By messing with them little sisters, messing with them temple sisters. That's why it's so dangerous, man. So like, y'all don't know that monkey has destroyed a lot of strong men. A lot of strong men. All right. Biblically, the strongest. You know, biblically speaking, we've seen the strongest man, physically strongest man who's ever lived, basically, maybe, get taken down by these sisters, man. You gotta be careful, man. All right, gotta be careful. Do not let your flesh get you destroyed, man. And he restrained them not. All right, and therefore, and why he didn't restrain them? Because you know what men don't restrain little boys or restrain their sons from out here being whoring around, being whoremongers and etc. Because they used to do it. Because they used to do it. And they mom urged them on to. You remember, you got a little cute son, a handsome little boy. He gonna be a little playboy. He gonna get all the girls. Ain't you gonna get all them little girls? Verse 14, and therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever. They ain't gonna be able to cover this thing up with the offering of bulls and goats. And this is what Israel has to understand. When he says, when the Lord says, I'm gonna destroy that temple and tear it down, especially my Old Testament brothers. When he's telling you he's gonna destroy the temple, he's telling you, I ain't forgiving that trash no more. You done got so far on my nerves. You done built up so much anger. Ain't no bulls and goats gonna be able to take this away. This finna happen to you. And we still be out here just dancing around. Yeah, man, we ain't got no temple. We can still just turn to the east. You turning to the east for what? Ain't no temple there. Ain't no ark. There ain't no presence of the Lord there. You tired of your foolishness, man. He took that ability away from you. And he really did. He really so graceful and so merciful that he sent his only begotten. He sent a better and a perfect sacrifice, but you don't believe that. And that's why you're going to have even harsher judgment. I pray you brothers repent. But this is something you need to be gleaning from about, understanding some of the attributes of the Lord. And when he's saying certain things and doing certain things, I'm not letting them ain't no sacrifice. I don't care if they sacrifice 1,000 bullocks. This judgment is going down on these fools. Verse 15, and Samuel lay until the morning and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. And this is the thing about being a prophet. For all my brothers want to call themselves prophet. Usually that word ain't a good word. No, I seen the joker. I wish I could, but I seen this brother. Man, I forget the brother's name, man. He always be going viral though. And he told his sister he was like, he had his hands on her and he was like 5013. She was like, yeah, 5013 Britain Road. That's me. That's why I stay. Lord told me it's an angel at your door. She said, she started dancing around and she caught the Holy Ghost. He didn't tell her what the angel was gonna do. It's like, man, wait a minute now. That's a deaf angel. It was an angel waiting for Don Bottom and that donkey, man. Like, why we, like, he didn't give you no other instructions about the angel sitting at your door? But a lot of times when they received that word, when a prophet had to arise and you had to get notification from a prophet, usually the first thing is bad news. Even to the point there was one king, the northern kingdom king said, man, don't even go get that joker. Don't go get that. You said a prophet, man, that joker don't like me, man. Don't get no prophecy from that joker. He ain't gonna do nothing but give us some bad news. Every time we talk to him, he give me bad news, man. Where we at, y'all? And Samuel lay unto the morning, opened the doors to the house of the Lord, and Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. And Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son, and he answered, here am I. And he said, where is the thing that the Lord hath said unto thee? See, Eli, man, you ever... It was one of them things where your parents done told you about to get a whooping. You know, they told you about to get a whooping after you get home from school. And man, you done ate dinner. You done went through the whole day. You outside playing. You got home from school. They letting you go outside and play and called you in for dinner. And then, later on in the day, or one of your other siblings get called into the room, and you go back, you want to know what that sibling did. They say anything about me getting whooped? Did they say they won't? She said or did they forget? You think they forgot? Just eager. Joker said they gonna call, or we gotta, I'm gonna call your parents, and you just praying that teacher forgot that she said she was gonna call my parents. I hope I just smoothed this thing over. I hope they didn't really call, that they didn't get in contact with them. And then somehow you find out when you get home and say, wait a minute, I want to talk to you. Like, oh man, Eli got that stuff. He got them butterflies. What did the Lord say? Because the last time he heard the Lord say something, it was about a judgment that was going to happen to him. And now Samuel got this word from the Lord, and Eli's eager. What did he say? What did he say to you? What did he say? And he said, what is the thing that the Lord hath said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things that he hath said unto. Now he almost threatening Samuel, like, man, you better tell me. If you don't tell me, the God will do something even worse to you. You got to tell me. You got to say, if it's a prophecy, you got to give the prophecy. Wait a minute now. And Samuel told him every whiff, and he had nothing from him. And he said, it is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. He appeared again to him. But right there, he told him every whit, and he had nothing from him, and Samuel ate it. I mean, not Samuel, but Eli, he ate it. That's his will. You know, whatever he said, hey man, let him do what seemed good. And at that moment, that could have preserved Eli. I don't know, you know, we don't know, but of course we know he faced the judgment, but he may not, you know, that might have preserved him for that other judgment. Like sometimes you just got to take it. And there's another verse in the text that talks about that, man, about just taking that judgment. Especially when we was going in Babylon. It may be in Jeremiah. I think it is in Jeremiah, but Jeremiah was telling them, hey man, just turn yourselves in. Just go take the judgment. Do not fight against these folks. Do not try to buck back. Just go ahead and take the judgment, or it's going to be much, much, much worse. Joker sat there and tried to fight. Didn't take it. But Eli, he went on, took it, dealt with it. Hey, it is what it is. But, you know, prayerfully it preserved him. Dan, even to Beersheba, all right, the north, Dan, Beersheba to further south. That was like a saying, you know. I'll beat your butt from New York to the tip of Florida, you know. And we have to learn these, but we only learn these sayings by getting more and more familiar with the text. Chapter 4, y'all. All right, the Philistines take the ark in the victory. It says, in the word of the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out against the Philistines to battle and pitched beside Ebenezer. And the Philistines pitched in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines, and they slew of the army in the field about 4,000 men. And when the people were coming to the camp, the elders of Israel said, wherefore hath the Lord smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us fetch the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemies. So the people sent to Shiloh, that they might bring forth thence the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth between the cherubims. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, what meaneth the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And they understood that the ark of the Lord was coming to the camp. And the Philistines were afraid, for they said, God is coming to the camp. And they said, woe unto us, for there has not been such a thing heretofore. All right. They feared the Lord. They were like, man, they done brought the ark of the covenant in. All right. And Israel is wondering, how did we get defeated? You know. And this was a little humbling for them, because they done been on a journey of destroying jokers, destroying these other people, these other nations. And now they done got kind of in a situation where, wait a minute, now we supposed to be, you know, like, what's going on? So like, go get the ark of the covenant. All right. Basically, they saying, man, go get the Lord. Go get him. Go get him. Bring him in here. Let him fight with us. And even the Philistines, they even feel like, hey, you know what, man? They done got the ark. This ain't finna look good for us, because we ain't seen such a power. We done heard the stories. We done seen what they done did out here. This ain't a good look. Verse 8, woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight. All right. Understanding that we have fallen victim to the Philistines. So, you know, we've been their servants and we've lost those battles. They understand that if they lose the battle against Israel, that they're going to be slaves, that they're going to be servants, just like we were servants unto them. That's just something that, if you lose the battle, this is what happens biblically. This is what happens. All right, the Philistines, quit yourselves like men. So they pumping themselves up. Verse 10, and the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten, and they fled every man into his tent. And there was a very great slaughter, for there fell of Israel 30,000 footmen. And the ark of God was taken, and the two sons, Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, were slain. The two sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, were slain. And there ran a man, Benjamin, out of the army, and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes rent and the earth upon his head. And when he came, lo, Eli sat upon the seat of the wayside watching, for his heart trembled for the ark of God. And when the man came into the city and told it, all the city cried. And when Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, what meaneth the noise of this tumult? And the man came in hastily and told Eli. And Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, that he could not see. And again, we see that dim, that he could not, could barely see. And we seen Samuel too, when his eyes were dim, kind of when he got that vision initially. Well, not a vision, but he heard the voice of the Lord, dimming into a sleep. This has no connection, but I seen the dim come back. We were just talking about the dim. So I'll be looking at stuff. I try to look at these patterns and stuff. And his eyes were dim, that he could not see. But the writers don't put this stuff in there for nothing. So when you see stuff like that, just pay attention to it. It may not be nothing, but it may be something. You just got to pay attention to it. Verse 16, and the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, what is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there have been also a great slaughter among the people, and thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. And it came to pass, when he had made mention of the ark of God, that he fell from off the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died. For he was an old man and heavy, and he had judged Israel 40 years. Eli judged Israel 40 years. He ended up getting old, and he was eating a lot of those sacrifices. Hophni and Phinehas were, having their way with them sacrifices, taking the good portion, making folks, enforcing people to give them a piece of the flesh before they even offer it. Well, give us a piece so we can put it on the grill for later, with a little salt. A little salt and a little thyme and what did we put on that thing? I think it's rosemary. Verse 19, and his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with child, near to be delivered. And when she heard the tidings that the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and husband were dead, she bowed herself and travailed, for her pains came upon her. And about that time of her death, the woman that stood by her said unto her, fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, neither did she regard it. All right. So even Phinehas' wife, when she heard the news, took her into premature labor, which ended up taking her life. And a son ended up coming from that. And it kind of, well, no, that's not the same either. But a son ended up coming from that, but which would have been a great thing, a remarkable thing to have, especially for women back then, to have a son. But she was already dead. And she named the child Ichabod, saying the glory is departed from Israel. And that's what that means. You know, when you don't have the Ark of the Covenant, that's what that meant for Israel. When you don't have the Ark of the Covenant, you don't have a temple. You don't have a priesthood. The glory is departed from Israel. You know, you should be walking around here with sackcloth and ashes. There's no glory in Israel. Well, he only dealing with it. You don't have the ark. You don't have a priesthood. You don't have a temple. You don't have the glory of God. Everybody was mourning. And she said, the glory is departed from Israel, for the ark of God is taken. And I ain't saying that. That's what the text is saying. Chapter 5, y'all. We almost out of here, man. I appreciate y'all bearing with me. I know it's getting long-winded. Capture of the ark provokes God. And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon. Y'all, this getting to some spiritual battle. There is very heavy. I know we just gonna keep it surface level today. Maybe we visit this, y'all willing, years to come, maybe later in the year, early next year, you know. But this like some spiritual attack in the other realm. But let's just keep it simple. This is just, hey, you know, the Most High really just showing like, man, this Dagon. What is this trash? What is this trash you sitting me next to? Are y'all serious? The Philistines took the ark of the God and they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And this their temple. This their God. They gonna bring our God. They gonna bring the ark of the covenant in their temple next to their God. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth. So imagine this, you know, they come in the next month. They believe, you know, just like a Buddha statue. You know, today we know these pagan Buddha statues, right? Imagine you have this great Buddhist temple. And they done put the Ark of the Covenant in this Buddhist temple, right? With this big old Buddha. Man, you know what? I got, you know, not to get sidetracked. This is still on what we talking about, but I was watching this show. I mean, sometimes I get caught when I'm eating, watching this show about them harvesting jasper. Not jasper, but jade, green jade stone. And a lot of Asians want this jade. They want the jade stone so they can carve out Buddha statues. They carve Buddhas out of this jade stone. They need it pristine, you know. And so I watch a lot of it. And imagine, and they spend millions and millions of dollars on this, just harvesting this jade, trying to get the perfect slab. You know, the rest of the stuff they can make for little beads and jewelry, but they need a perfect, no cracks, grade A. You know, they particular about what jade they're using for their Buddha statues. But imagine they make this 10-foot Buddha out of pure jade and gold trimmings. They sit the Ark of the Covenant in, and then they come back and Buddha is laying on his face. You know. A 2-ton statue laying on his face. And when he came across early in the morning, behold, Dagon was falling upon his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both palms of his hands were cut off from the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore, neither the priests of Dagon nor any that come into the house tread on the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod unto this day. Nobody even going in there to this day. When they seen it, it was war. Something happened in there when they closed them doors that left their deity with his head cut off, arms cut off, cut away from the threshold, laying on the floor face first. You're like, nobody going back in that temple. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emeralds, even Ashdod and the coast thereof. And I think the emeralds are more like let me look that up. It's more like a skin disease or something like that. Hold on. Emeralds tumor. Hemorrhoids. Tumor. Tumor. We'll just leave it at the tumor. Verse 7. And when the men of Ashdod saw it was so, they said, the ark of God of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us and upon Dagon our God. The Lord, listen, Yahweh, Yahweh, his hand is against us. Yahuwah, his hand is against us and our God. Get that Ark of the Covenant away from us. Get it away from us. They sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them and said, what shall we do with the Ark of God of Israel? And they answered, let the Ark of the God of Israel be carried out unto Gath. And they carried the Ark of the God of Israel about thither. And it was so that after they had carried it out about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. They took it to another city, Gath, and as soon as they dropped it off there, the Lord started punishing them also. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emeralds in their secret parts. It's very problematic. Okay. This is a very problematic plague in your secret parts. Okay. Get that thing up out of here, man. If you don't get that up out of here. Verse 10, it says, therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron, and it came to pass as the ark of God came to Ekron that the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of God of Israel to us to slay us. And man, if they had guns back then, they would have shot them. They would have shot them from 100 yards if they could. Ain't no way we finna let you bring that in there, man. If they had the archers up there, man, ain't no way we finna let you bring that in our city, man. These jokers got emeralds in their secret part. I don't want no parts of that. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, send away the ark of God of Israel and let it go again to his own place, that it slay us not in our people. For there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there. And a heavy hand on them jokers. Verse 12, and the men died that were smitten with the emeralds. And they cry of the city, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. All right, and we'll come back and we just gonna get through Samuel. Let's get through Samuel. Maybe 2 Samuel. If y'all still interested, or we jump, or we go back to Genesis. But pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shalom.